Just give me try, keep 그렇게 수도 없는 거지만 네또 수나와 이날 기다렸대 기도 기다렸으나와君とのバレル線を憎むの海の向こうに光が差す
Excuse me, I got a little teary eyed there. Ooh wee! Oh god, I love that opening. So good. Oh my goodness, that opening is just so beautifully done. And uh, the emotions, the memories, and it's kind of funny that I'm getting like this emotional after I just got finished watching that series. Good evening, UN Spacey Wolf Squadron. This is your Wolf Commander Wolf 10. I am your werewolf. Today we are we're finally doing it tonight. Finally, we're finally, and I'm sorry I'm late on the draw on this one. We started a little late. I had to take care of things on my end. But we are finally going to talk about a special anime that I've watched since Jump, early in the early odds, called Last Exile. And it was one of the series that I was not able to complete due to cable being a butt. But, you know, I finally was able to finish it myself along with some others who got part way through it, but they're gonna tell me what they like so far about it anyways, and I'll share my thoughts. Of course, we also have that one pioneer that still hasn't watched it yet, but will hear us gush about it. So let me list off who's here today, starting with our usual manga and anime curator, the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us in tonight's live stream as we're going to talk about The Last Exile.
One who was an overachiever who went through 15 episodes so far will be the humblest of writers, Humble Marty.
Hello. Don't mind me. There's a fan in the background.
We can't hear it, don't worry.
Oh, that's good.
And our resident no watch person, the Leia Valor, Leia Plus Size.
Good evening, everyone. This is Alea Plus Size, your lovely lady of valor, and I'm going to be silent tonight. I'm the normie when it's coming to this, so I'm going to let the team tell you and give us info and break down this story. So, hope you enjoy their review.
I kind of find it funny that you didn't get a chance to watch this because this does have real heroes and real heroism, Leia, to start. Just to get you a good idea of what you're gonna get yourself into when you get around to watching this. It does have very altruistic characters, very dark and bleak characters too, very torn characters, but they find hope at the end. And there's the youthful side of things. So what is Last Exile? I'm gonna read from good old Wikipedia because it's so reliable.
That's sarcasm.
No shit.
Well, I'm just informing that to the audience.
Of course, future audiences and beyond. Last Exile is a Japanese anime television series created by Gonzo. Oh god, that company. Great company, by the way. I'm Gonzo. How we miss you. You were gone too early. It featured a production team led by director Koichi Chiga- Chigura, character designer Range Mureta, and production designer Mahiro Maeda. The three had previously worked together on Blue Submarine number 6. For those who are familiar, great series. Haven't watched it yet. I plans to though. There's that also has a manga series which we will cover in the future. Yes, Dom, you can zip up your pants now.
Oh boy.
One of the first CG anime series. That's right, guys. This, along with Last Exile, are one of the first pioneers of anime that incorporated 2D anime with CGI, uh, with CGI.
It actually looks a lot better than some of the CG stuff we got today.
Do you think so? I don't think. I think it kind of
Well,
aged a
there's
little
a
bit.
it has, but there's also a few CG anime I can think of that have aged a little bit more than others.
Okay. Last Exile aired in Tokyo TV Tokyo from April to September 2003. A sequel series which we will probably touch upon sometime in the future. Last Exile FOM, The Silver Wing, aired from October 2011 to March 2012. A film adaptation of the series Last Exile FOM, The Silver Wing over the Witches. Jesus Christ, that's a long ass title. Was released in February 2016. Oh, wow. So I originally thought that Last Exile was just its own thing. I did not expect it to have a sequel and a movie, which was cool. Let's get into the synopsis. The story is, well, actually, no. This is kind of like the cliff notes. The story is set in the fictional world of Prester, where its inhabitants use aerial vehicles known as Vanships as a means of transportation. In this world, which is divided in eternal conflict between nations of Anatori, Anatore and Disith, Sky Couriers Klaus Valka and Lavi Head must deliver a girl who holds the key to uniting the two factions. Although Prestor itself is not a representation of Earth, it features technology reminiscent of 19th century Europe at the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. Many of its designs were also inspired by Germany's technological advances during the interwar period. Y'all know
Hmm.
what that means. The
Mm-hmm.
series was licensed in North America by Guignon Entertainment, another company that we lost too early. My goodness, I'm getting emotional, guys. In June 2003, 2 months after the first episode aired in Japan, Funimation began licensing the series after Guignon ceased production of its titles, later licensing the sequel series. It is also licensed for English releases in the UK Kingdom, originally by ADV Films. Goodness gracious, that's memory lane, man. That's gone too, by the way. ADV gone
Mm.
until its closure in
I
2009.
remember them.
There you go. See, there you go. Closure in 2009. And I wept that day when I discovered that they were gone. And it is now licensed by Entertainment and in Australia by Madman Entertainment, other publishing media, including two soundtracks, two manga, and art books. Last Exile received widespread critical acclaim and is considered one of the best works of Gonzo, with praise for its narrative, visuals, themes, and soundtrack. Now there is the settings section, but I'm not going to get into that. Let's get into the let's get into first impressions. Let's start with Humble. What is your first impression of this series?
Um, my first impression of the series is it starts out really lighthearted, but it does do really great with taking world building details and actually incorporating them in. Like, for example, I was right at like episode 13. And the part where Lavi banes a metal sheet to get him to wake up, Klaus is doing the same thing, trying to motivate himself to go forward after getting stranded in a desert.
One of the best episodes, by the way. Uh, Dom, what was your impression?
Well, this is my first time watching West Exile because I actually watched the first three episodes like for a Friday viewing for a manga anime club. But I will say like when rewatching those three and going onwards, or like I would still remember how impressed I was with not only the fusion of traditional 2D animation with 3D, while it's dated in some areas, but it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb.
Not entirely.
However, I was captivated by the story as well as the characters, especially Klaus and Lavi.
Oh, those two are just gorgeous together. And one thing I love about Lavi is she is by far one of the one of the well-written female characters in anime, mind you, that has a good balance of tsundere and girl next door, or at least tomboy girl next door.
Mm-hmm.
As I
And,
uh, and
she also
fun fact, by the way, Klaus is voiced by John Young Bosch.
while Lavi was voiced by Kerry Walgren.
Exactly. Haruku Hara Hara. For those who
But
don't
also,
know.
well, Lavi, however, I would like to add Lavi also really captures the reluctant hero archetype.
Mm-hmm.
Like as much as we want to give praise to Johnny and Carrie, like the original Japanese voice actors Mayumi Asano as well as Saito have also really captured the characters really well, and Johnny and Carrie was able like to capture like their respective performances for the characters.
What the hell was that? I think that was dumb. His mic is kind of getting a bit screwy.
Oh, yeah, because it wasn't me. Dom, I think you okay over there, your end?
Oh yeah, well yeah, I thought that was coming from you guys. I wasn't really moving around all that much.
Me
Neither was
neither.
I. As far as I
That
know.
was. You okay, humble?
That might might have been the fan that she mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as I was saying, as much as we want to give praise to Johnny and Carrie, we should also like give praise to Klaus and Lavi's like original Japanese voice actors Mayumi Asano and Sheila Saito respectively.
Mm-hmm. But who cannot overlook the best little girl? The little girl that was basically Anya before Anya came into the scene. Alvis Hamilton.
She is just adorable.
She definitely is. Oh my goodness! Like everything she does is just adorable. Just plain adorable. My goodness, especially what she does later on in the last two episodes, which I'm not gonna say to you guys because you haven't gotten there yet. Especially for those who still want to watch it blind. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but she's very important. She's very important and integral to the main plot of the story, which is uh after a few, let's just say after 3 or 4 episodes, that's where the real story starts taking place. Because the beginning of the story starts off with a with an airship battle against uh one capital ship versus the most famous ship called the Savannah, helmed by the captain Alexander Rowe. Now, fun fact also, Alexander is voiced by, is he still alive? Because I could have sworn I heard he passed away. Crispin Freeman. Let me check.
To answer your
Somebody.
question, Crispin Freeman is still alive.
Okay, cool. Thank God. I don't want. I don't want. Yeah. Haji from Blood Plus, by the way, and who's also Gyome Himajima and Demon Slayer currently. So yeah, he ain't dead. He's still alive. What the hell am I talking about? Who was also Togusa from Ghost in the Shell franchise. Oh, he was Alucard? Holy shit, he's Alucard from Hellsing. This guy's got a huge ass pedigree, along with Walgren and Bosch. But yeah, Alexander Rowe. Another fun fact is he is. If you guys see him, you guys see him in the beginning, right? You begin to notice
Yeah,
that there's. You
I've
begin,
seen him.
yeah, you begin to notice that there's something familiar about Alexander.
Oh, really? Is it the fact that he happens to resemble Captain Harlock?
Yes, it took me about maybe 6 episodes to start catching that a bit, and then I looked up on Wikipedia and looked up his character, and lo and behold, it said Alexander Rowe was based on Captain Harlock, a space pirate character created by the manga artist Leiji Matsumoto. Sorry, Matsumoto. And according to Murata, the design for his clothing turned out all black. No matter how carefully or subtle I put in the lines, they were all the same when I colored it in. Animers also experienced difficulties in animating his hair and flow. I love Alexander Rowe, by the way, despite his resistance to Captain Harlock. As a matter of fact, I'm glad that they used Captain Harlock as a template to build this character because Jesus Christ, this guy is amazing. Stoic, uh,
Stoic
very
yet
very
honorable.
honorable, stoic, commanding presence. Regardless, even if he's sitting in the background, leaning his head on his knuckles, you just want to know more about him. And goodness gracious, he's a tragic character.
Hmm.
By the way, his backstory is that he lost his wife in one of the conflicts caused by a member of a side organization that is actually funding both sides of the war. By the way, keeping it under control. The Guild Association, if I recall. Let me hang
Yes,
on. I said that right.
yes.
Who was really the main antagonist for the entirety of the show because of their corporal tendencies. And goodness gracious, when you finally get into the guild and through their perspective, they're fucking hedonistic as all shit. Especially with their leader, Delphine Ericlea.
Don't give too much away.
I'm not gonna give too much away. Humble, describe Delphina or Delphine. Sorry. Humble, wake up. I'm poking you with a stick. Somebody pull her string. She's not talking.
Humble, are you there?
Hey, Humble, wake up!
Humble, 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 humble,
Humble.
humble, 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 humble. Marty, Marty,
Oh,
Marty,
no.
Marty, 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 Marty.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay,
I
good.
was I was
Um,
asking you. Can you explain, like in one short sentence, how would you explain Delphine Ericlea from her first appearance?
Psycho.
That's all we need. And Psychotic, she. Oh man, when you guys get further into the series, Jesus Christ, you're gonna see how fucked up she is. So let's see what she does to her little brother, Dio Eraclea, who is one of my favorite characters, by the way. Klaus is a close second, but man, I love Dio. Uh, you guys already caught up to Dio, right?
Yeah.
You as well, Dom. So describe Dio, humble.
Okay, Dio is basically a weirdo.
Really?
Yeah, because he basically gets really fascinated with Klaus because he's close to his age and names him after a turn.
Yep.
Well, that's
And
well, calling him weird would be a major understatement.
you could almost say he's probably gay for Klaus upon first appearance, especially around the time where being gay was a taboo. But no, he calls him a mailman. Sorry, emailman.
Emoman.
Thank you, emailman. Named after a famous aerial maneuver called the emailman turn, coined by a famous World War One German pilot ace, specifically Max Emailman. So with that in mind, just know that Last Exile takes every bit from World War One, or specifically World War One Germany. The setting, the style, everything from the van. Sorry, the van. Oh wow, I'm stunned right now. The van ships to a lot of the structure of the military infrastructure. I mean, hell, look at Klaus and Lavi's pilot outfits in the clip shown on a screen right now. Very old school pre pre war attire. Y'all feeling me right now?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. However, however, the air the Air Force maneuvers aren't the only thing that are referenced because if people like pay attention to each title of the episodes, those like who are major chess players, like each of them are named after moves in chess.
Holy shit! Did not catch that.
You didn't know that?
No, but I kind of have a feeling that they meant something because a lot of anime shows they don't name things just to be naming them at random. The names do have a purpose, but good catch right there, Dom. I'm not I'm not so much of a good chess player, so I wouldn't know the moves at all. I play chess, but you could kind of say I was a casual player of chess. But rolling back to Alexander, another favorite character of mine is his right hand woman, Sophia Forrester, and you guys know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
So, what was your impressions of Sophia? Starting with Humble.
She was definitely the lieutenant of the group.
Damn right, bit and badass too in her own right. Even though she, even though she just followed orders and carry out his. She was basically his right. She was Riker to his Captain Picard in a way. The way how they
Mm-hmm.
bounced off each other, it was reminiscent of Riker and Picard of Star Trek.
Oh,
Would you also agree, Dom, or do you have a different interpretation of their dynamic?
Oh, I was actually going to add that their dynamic is similar to to Riza and excuse me Well, I would say that the dynamic is very similar to a familiar pair from Full Metal Alchemist.
Riza and Roy.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Dom? Humble. What? How would you describe their dynamic in your own words?
The dynamic they played off of each other was that of a captain and his first mate.
Hmm. But you could easily tell they have a history. They have a sort of friendship that kind of borders on a close to a forbidden love connection growing,
Kinda.
but it's not reciprocated at all because of circumstances. Sorry, I'm already through the series, so I kind of like saw where the relationship was going, but I'm not gonna speak too. I'm not gonna spell it out for you guys. Like I said, I want you guys to experience that one. But
Well, there were still hints that they have feelings for each other that goes beyond friendship. However, they can't really reciprocate it to each other because of the chain of command.
that too, but also Alexander was still grieving over his wife, his dead
Well,
wife.
well, yeah, yeah. I mean, anyone who happens to be a widower can empathize with that. Even
Hmm.
those like who haven't, even those like who are not in romantic relationships, like they can still like empathize like with what Alexander's going through.
Right. There's also the Sylvanas crew, which oh my goodness, man, you just really gotta love that crew, man. That crew is amazing. They just bounce off it. That military banter, or at least that locker room banter they have with each other is just so infectious. Just hearing them talk, especially when they talk about a certain ace pilot of their group who
Oh
also made
man.
who also she made her appearance in the very first episode.
Oh,
Y'all know who I'm talking about, right?
Tatiana?
Damn it, damn it, humble, you jumped the gun.
Hmm. No,
Hmm?
I know who
Ta-
you're talking about.
that's right, Tatiana Whistler, who is a like a better. Uh, can we call her a child soldier?
Um, she had a lot of training in the military academy, and it sort of carried through in all of her other interactions.
Well, no, she's not class. I wouldn't classify her as a child soldier. She was a former cadet, now a soldier. She just happened to be 17, or at least young, a young soldier in that group. But man, oh man, what was your impressions of Tatiana? Starting with Dom this time.
Don't underestimate her.
That's it. Oh, that's right. You're not that far ahead to really get into how much her character develops, right?
Yeah, yeah, not that far yet. Yeah, however, for that single sentence, that's one of the best ways to describe her.
All right, humble, carry him.
It's like having a tsundere for a commanding officer.
Well, she's her personality attitude is that of almost a ice queen who has to really learn how to. She's a soldier that learns how to be human again throughout the story, which I'm not going to tell you how she does it or who helped her get to that. But she does have she has only one crew member that she actually kind of confides into, which is her. Oh, let me explain the Vanships real quick before I even bring her up. So Klaus is a Vanship pilot, and Lavi is a navigator, and you need two of those to at least function as a you need a you basically need a navigator anyways if you're a piloting a van ship. Period. You know, right?
Yeah, it's basically one is Google Maps and the other one is the driver.
Well, it's like a jet plane, in particular. You know, our today's military jet planes have two seaters,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. I mean, I know certain fighter jets have like a single seater, right? But there are certain ones that do have two seaters. Now, I'm not a military expert, nor am I a jet expert, but you know, of course, that second pilot has a separate function, specifically spotting things as well as also being navigation right now. But in the case of the van ships of the world of Last Exile, sure the pilot pilots, but the navigator can also pinpoint things that the pilot can't see or probably would need a navigator to spot. You know, like
Hmm.
distance,
If you're their wingman.
coordination. Basically, yeah, they're the wingman. You know, field check, ammo reload. You know, reloading ammo if it's a van ship that's armed with guns.
Sounds like the
So
human version of Jarvis.
exactly. So while Klaus has Lavi, now I'm going to get into this next character. Tatiana has Alistair Agru, who's her navigator. And when I first saw their designs before I even continued Last Exile, I thought they were super soldiers because of their unique pilot outfits. I thought they were like these thought there were more of them too. I thought they were like these trained female pilots. You know, I thought there was Vanship's that actually had single steers where they were equipped for dogfighting and all that stuff. I was wrong, completely wrong. Which they have a very unique Vanship, which is painted red, of course, to really show
Hmm.
who you know when the Vanships are in the air, you know who's up there and who's piloting what. And hers is specifically red, and all the rest of the Vanships on the Savannah are one unified color, right?
Yeah,
I think they all
for the
have.
most
Yeah,
part.
the guild. Speaking of aerial machinery, the guild have a very unique ship called the I think they call it a starfish.
Uh,
Starfish.
yeah.
Yeah, it's these what shape would you call that, Dom? 3 point star, right? No, four
Yeah,
point
three
star,
point
right?
star. No, 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 4 point. No, no, actually, no, no. I take it back. Yeah, they're a 3 point star.
They are.
Ah, no, four. No, they're fish. They are 4 point stars.
Yeah,
Enough to have one head, four limbs, and piloted by a corpse.
and they can go all terrain. Well, they are very robotic. They once they land, they're four legged in a way.
They're one size fits all cyborg suits, in the same shape of those little gold stars awarded to little kids.
They are very weird. The- Man, if y'all
Long,
really
long
want
story
to know
short,
how weird anime can get, look no further here because these things when they make their first appearance attacking a village of sorts, the way how they move is so just spine tingling chilly. Especially with at the top. This is where the CGI actually helped more than it hurts. It's the way how the starfish ships move when they're in a robotic state. It is creepy. It's actually, as a matter of fact, Dare I say it, the Starfish ships were the reason why I wanted to get back into Last Exile so badly. Originally, I thought Last Exile was all about racing because that's where the series kind of jumped off the aerial fight for a while to focus on Lavi and Klaus racing to and that's another thing. The Vanship pilots are mostly couriers, like was stated when we're talking about the synopsis of the story, right? Or the setting rather.
Mm-hmm.
The Vanship pilots are for the most part when with their inception are meant to be couriers.
Oh.
They're supposed to deliver messages. Period. That's their job,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all they do. The military, for the most part, when it comes to engagement with each other, it's they go into an engagement called chivalry combat, as per rules by the guild. The guild formulated the law on on warfare to be exact. And when they go into conflict, they usually the best way I can describe their conflict is that have you guys remember way back when in the Revolutionary War, right? Or how we used to fought back in America's wars. You know, the face to face gun and cannon,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
where they march at each other, just blasting each other and all that stuff. Think of that with, or better yet, it's that kind of combat along with naval combat. It just
Oh.
happens to take place in the air. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you guys kind of got a little bit of that information, or at least that kind of how I'm lost for words right now.
Hmm.
You guys picked up on
Take
that,
your
right?
time, Wolf.
You guys picked up on that, right?
Yeah.
Like the way how
Yeah, I picked up on it too.
how they do the aerial battles. It's like out to sea ship combat. And I'm not talking about our battleships, our modern day battleships and destroyers and all that stuff. I'm talking about old school naval combat. You know, with the sails and all that stuff.
Kind of like the old pirate ships from Assassin's Creed,
Pirates
the
of the
Curse of the Black Sparrow.
Caribbean,
Yeah, that one.
Well, like
Master and Commander.
all that can trace back to the golden age of exploration and piracy.
Exactly. Now, mind you, we don't really have any aerial pirates in this story. So don't go into this anime looking for aerial pirates or sky pirates. They ain't none.
With a ship
Um,
like the Sylvanas, they probably died.
yeah. Well, the thing is, the way how this Savannah is designed, you could almost say it's a pirate ship, but it's not. And that's only because, like I said, the Savannah and its crew is meant to look like Captain Harlock's crew. It's,
Hmm.
I mean, it
They
borders
look like Captain Harlock's crew as well as the ship. However, the character dynamics is more reminiscent of Riza, Roy, and the other and their friends from Full Metal Alchemist.
exactly. It kind of skirts the line of almost plagiarism, but it only gets there by a notch to the point where it's so vastly different that you only notice it with Alexander and Sophia mostly until later on in the story. That's where like you know like okay okay, this is kind of plagiarizing, but you know we're not split hairs on that one.
It's not really plagiarism. Plagiarism is the same thing. And then with the whole debate involving Elric of Melniboné and The Witcher.
Well, let's call it for what it is: inspired.
Yeah, yeah. Much like with Witcher, it was inspired by Elric of Melniboné. It is not an example of plagiarism.
Right. But yeah, so I'm just only explaining like the combat that you're going to probably it's either going to hit you or it's going to miss you. Like the whole step of the thing is, and I'm going to get into why I'm bringing up the van ship pilots in the first place is because of that time the combat is usually they're either fighting from afar or they switch it up and they line up each other and they have this whole detachment of soldiers, which I think they're called the musketeers or the
Yeah.
musket.
No, 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 no. They're called the Musketeers.
Really? Let me see. Let me see. Give me a sec. Okay, because there's a character that's exactly that job. I'm trying to figure out if I'm reading him right. Yeah, Mullen Shetland. He no, they're called riflemen actually. Yeah, they're called rifle. I think they're called riflemen.
Huh,
And what they do,
I thought they were referred to as Musketeers because like they use because like well with the guns they're using they're actually reminiscent of muskets from the Civil War.
probably a nickname then, or maybe that is their name. But I'm not. I only watch it like a few times, so bear with me, y'all. You know, I should have took notes. My bad, y'all. I should have took notes.
Don't don't slack off on that.
Well, you're supposed to take notes too, man. Just saying. Not throwing the blame on you, but damn it, you supposed to carry me too now. If I fumble, and you too humble.
Yeah?
I know, I know what you're talking about as well as like any terms like you're trying to think of, but you're starting to fumble.
I know. I aims to correct that mistake in the future.
Hmm.
But yeah, he's a rifleman or a musketeer. And what those guys do is they when they depending on the conditions of the combat, their ships line each other up, and like I said earlier, in the olden days of warfare, they start blasting each other for like a
Yeah, they're using a kind of a musket shot.
yep. They're also lined up with they're also attached to a cable, and I believe that cable is to prevent them from flying out of the ship. Depend on the air conditionings or depend on their altitude. It
Hmm.
prevents them from it basically prevents them from flying out the ship. And speaking of Mullen Shetland, his introduction is pretty unique, especially when it comes down to the way how war is depicted in this story, which is the whole war is hell kind of aspect, and you kind of get a little bit of that in there with Shetland, who is shitting bricks in his introduction.
Hmm. And
Repeat.
also just as a confirmation, yes, they are called yes, in the series they are called Musketeers.
Okay,
And sec
got that out of the way.
yeah, and second, for the theme of war is hell, well, yeah, it is prevalent in Last Exile. However, it's not forceful or in your face
Mm-hmm.
as it has occurred like in works of fiction like back then and even now sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Like that dude, like his introduction, dude is shaking in his boots. Just re- he's basically repeating a mantra before they even get into combat. He just repeating a step, sorry, right?
Hmm.
Kind of like how they set. It's basically a setup of how they do their firing range because should one musketeer dies, another takes his place and keeps firing. And you're supposed to keep. And the thing is, you're supposed to keep firing until both ships have basically what happens is that ships will drive past each other. Think of it as as a glorified militaristic drive by. But yeah, they drive past each other, and your musketeer crews just start blasting. I know you guys are giggling behind that keyboard. Go ahead and giggle. But yeah, they start blasting each other, and the shooting stops once the ships have cleared fire range. And man, is it a mess afterwards. And he was, and this is only shown when he's stationed on the in the Anatore fleet. So when we got when we revisit, excuse me, wow, I'm following my words again. When we get back into aerial combat, it's the Anataria fleet, Anatore fleet, or at least versus the what are they called again? I know I said their names earlier. The other faction.
Mandatory?
It's the other faction.
Oh, the
Are you talking about the
coward
guild?
faction.
The what?
Humble?
Oh, I ended up calling them coward faction, but
No, no,
yeah, I got that wrong.
no, they're called the Disith.
Yeah, there we
Oh,
go.
the
So,
dissonance.
It was
so
the Anatore
if
versus
there's a
the Disif.
also like it's worth mentioning mentioning that the uniform designs of the Anatores and the Disiths respectively, like they were well, for on one hand, like the Anatory story are based on of Napoleon's army as well as American Civil War soldiers, whereas as with the Dis like their uniform designs are based on the Soviet Red Army,
Yeah.
aka the Soviet Union, like before its collapse to which led to the creation of modern Russia.
That would explain why Mullen looked like a toy soldier before he got stripped.
You too. When you really look at the outfits, sometimes you can't help but think the Nutcracker when it comes to the Musketeers. Because as soon as they got onto the platform to get ready to shoot, I couldn't stop help by playing the beat. Is Leia awake? Is still awake with us?
I'm here.
I know you just have nothing to add, but are you at least enthralled by what we're talking about?
Well, I will say this. You make it very what's the word I'm looking for? Enthusiastic and passionate to watch for.
Okay, that's all I need. Hope I'm not boring anybody here. Just
You're
hoping that
not.
I'm not boring anybody. But no, yeah. So you have that
Ooh,
combat. You have that combat. You might be wondering when is the what when does the van ships pilots get in on the action? Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. Majority of the time, they start off with ship to ship combat. Most of the time. Um, there is a thing called a war of attrition, which if you notice as you're watching Last Exile, they try to avoid that at all costs. If you guys have you guys picked up on that too for a while?
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I picked up on that too.
Because like I said, there's the law of the chivalry combat, and nine times out of ten they try to avoid the battle of attrition, which is kill everybody basically.
Hmm.
So it's like a sort of as you said earlier, Dom, it's a game of chess.
Hmm.
But everything changes, of course, in the war when Alvis enters the picture, especially when it comes down to Lavi and Klaus trying to deliver her to a specific family, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this
Yeah.
also happens when they got involved in the battlefield when they had to deliver a message to a soldier, I believe, or actually no, the captain of the Anatore fleet. They had to deliver a message to him, and they literally flew into that combat just to deliver that message. And the only reason why they end up there is because they selected a delivery letter that was no 8 stars.
No. Seven. No, it was 7 stars. Sorry. So
I'm
when
one
Lobby
point ahead.
no, it was 7 stars that they took that they took notice, which they realized like it's of great importance that all this is delivered to Alexander and as a way as a as a means to continue where Ralph left off because he stayed behind which led to his heroic sacrifice.
Remind everybody who's Ralph.
Ralph was Ralph Wednesday he was the Vanship courier that was the original transport of Alvi.
Yep,
He went boom.
yep. He died. He dead.
He died. However, he didn't go down without a fight.
Yes, he did not. He did not go down with a fight. He was fighting really hard in that air, man, until to his untimely death. And what's cool was, like I said, our as you would call them, Dom, reluctant heroes took up the delivery, which then that's where the real once they complete the delivery, that's where the real plot starts. And I originally thought that Last Exile was, like I said, originally was about racing van ships. When I saw a trailer for Last Exile and they showed the starfish ship, I was like, wait, what the hell? What is all this shit? Are they fighting some ancient alien race or something? Oh, I gotta get back into this. It's not like I gave up on the series. It's like I've said, Cable happened.
Oh
Ew.
no,
Get it
I
right,
understand.
Cable happened.
Well, it's similar to the first chapter and first episode of that one series called Happy Sugar Life. On one night, you think it will be a comedic slice of life series. However, after the first chapter and first episode, you realize, oh no, no, it is anything but a comedic slice of life series.
So, speaking of which, you guys must wondering, why is it called Last Exile?
That's the name of that one ship they all want.
I'm speechless right now. She just spelled it out.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. Well,
well, it starts off by
that's why I didn't add anything,
well, the
because
thing is,
she sums it up right. She, yeah, she
go ahead,
sums
go
it up
ahead.
like that.
Well, the thing is, no, we don't like you as a viewer, along with the characters, don't know what exile is. They first and foremost they call it, but they call it exile. Actually, they're looking for a ancient artifact. You would think it's an artifact called exile, and if you get and I'm down, I know that you're far into it. The the main plot starts beginning through a bidding section, an auction actually.
That's correct.
That's where really the main plot starts, where we finally got Alvis to Alexander, and suddenly Alexander has to go to an auction, and that's where it it becomes like the most intense auction ever. Like even though even though you know most of the time when auctions are depicted in most media, you know 25, 25. We get 25, 25 million, 25 million. We got 25 million, 3 million, 3 million, stuff like that, right? Jesus Christ, this is the most intense auction I've ever witnessed. Because not only is an auction is going, but some other political intrigue is happening behind the scenes.
Ooh.
And Alexander has just been higher and higher and higher. And it's only for this one artifact that will lead him to exile, or at least
Mhm.
get him ever closer to exile. And from what was been explained by Delphine and many others, exile is a something. I'm not gonna say what it is. It's a something that grants people a wish if they ever attain exile.
Ooh.
And what's interesting about exile, it took them 26 episodes to even get to it. Unlike One Piece, yes, I'm gonna dig on One Piece. Jesus Christ,
However, that is beside. However, no, that is beside the point. What?
right?
What? Well, yeah. So like, so the bit. Yeah. So after episode 9, like, the bidding starts getting intense until Delphine she raised the bid up to 50 bit after 50 billion Claudia
Which is the currency in that world of Pester. What do you call it again?
currency.
No, what was the name of the currency?
Claudia?
Yep, Claudia.
Yeah, you just said it. So, just as Alexander was about to like make another bid to outdo the 50 billion, it was temporarily put on hold after it was threatened at gunpoint, which caused the auction to be officially closed.
Mm-hmm. Which I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming either. So it was a very pleasant surprise, but also it also it keeps
Hang
you
on, now. Hang on.
on the edge of your
Humble, did you see that coming?
No, I did not.
Mind you, this is not a spoiler, guys. This is something that happens later on, like much in the middle of the, not necessarily in the middle, like the first half of the story. So it's not really a specific spoiler. That comes later when we
Mm.
learn what Alvis really is.
Oh yeah, when Dio mentioned that little poem. Okay, spoilers. Sipped.
I'm saying secrets will be revealed later on in the story. We're not gonna blurt it out this time. Humble.
Okay.
We're not telling the whole story this time because you guys, like, she's pretty much close to episode 15. Dom is on episode 11, and Leia does not know about no shit about this damn anime. So let's keep her
she's
in the dark.
she's still a newbie in manga and anime. However, she'll get to the master level eventually.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like let's keep Leia in the dark because she needs to go in here fresh, despite us talking about this.
You're not hurting me by spoiling me. It
No,
doesn't bother me because it lets me know
no,
if it's going to be worth my time.
no.
Okay.
You need to go in fresh.
All right.
A show
Whatever
like
you
this, you need to
say.
go in fresh.
So it's a show. It's not a movie.
It's an anime. It's an anime series.
Okay.
You just you just saw the opening. I just played the opening just now.
Yeah, I know. I saw the opening, but I wasn't sure if this was a animated film or an anime television
It's a s-
series,
it's a television series.
or television series is the best way I can describe it. Or it could be a streaming series or whatever way you want to look at it. I wasn't sure what it was, but now you're telling me, and from what I'm hearing, it's episodic.
It's cable. Well, it was cable TV, and it's not completely episodic. Like, yes, On one hand, you're right, and at the same time, not completely either, because there is an overarching story with each
Hmm.
standalone
Mm-hmm.
episode.
Mm-hmm.
And each character has their own character moment in each episode, except for one particular episode, which involves Klaus and Tatiana, which I'm not gonna
Mm.
get into that one, cause that one's a character development episode, and what
Mm-hmm.
happens after that kind of affects people's character development in a huge way. In fact, and Neil Star was commenting about my flying machine. Man, the reason why I watch this show because of the aerial combat and all that. I'm a dogfight man, so I'm a plane man. I like planes. I like unique design planes too. I mean, let's real quick before we start wrapping it up. Let's get into the ship design. You know what? I'm on Bing right now. I was getting ready to show some pictures. Y'all ready for some pictures?
Sure,
How y'all like
I'm
the
ready.
ship design, by the way?
I love them.
they're really cool.
Yeah, so you can tell. What I appreciate is besides obviously the homages to Captain Harlock, like they real the creators like and the team involved like really like showing the work and really bringing the weapons as well as the aerial vehicles be like mundane and military to life because yeah, even though like it is not a representation of Earth, like they were able it is they're able like to able to give the designs as well as the world like just enough like a resemblance like of Earth during a period of time. In this case, the Industrial Revolution as well as the interwar period, but it is still its own distinct setting.
Hmm. I mean, you can see the van ship in the background on the picture right now, currently. But here's the van ship in full. Every van ship looks like that. Despite, they do have their own unique design though. But this is basically the base design of a van ship, and it looks, for lack of, they're based on a van plane actually, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Are you saying that just to agree, or are you saying that as in yes, there's some truth into that?
No, as a confirmation.
Thank you. Just making sure. Thank you so much. Hey, I'm complimenting you, man.
I know, I, I know, but next time, like take notes.
I will. I will assure you, I will. Question is, have we ever seen a van ship in real life? I doubt it. They're not. They're not in operation anymore, aren't they?
Not really. No, the only time you can see them is really in any museum that you visit.
Most of them, when they are in operation, are is probably a historical replica. That's a hobbyist flying it.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me look for more ships so I can show you guys. For the most part, a lot a lot of the machinery, a lot of the mach. Oh wow, I don't know if that's actually that's a thing, but I'm gonna post up anyways. What I was gonna say? Excuse me. A lot of the machinery and machines are in CGI, along with the backgrounds too. Some of the backgrounds, not all of them, but some are in CGI. But for the most part, all ships are CGI. And when they go boom, they go boom. You kind of it,
Oh yeah.
it's very misty, mind you. But your imagination can pretty much fill in the blanks of what goes on once a ship goes down. They also confirm that ships go down and sometimes they just crash or burn. They crash and burn, or sometimes they sink. And I'm putting that in air quotes, by the way.
Uh, Good historical reference would have been that one Zeppelin that went down in flames.
Hmm.
Yep, they do. They do. That do happen to them a lot. Some ships have very unique designs. Some have terrible designs, like the ones that have these like thin necks that once you hit them they snap like twigs. You guys remember that aerial battle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
It's like, that was a dumbass
And
ship
then there
design.
was the one by the guy who always ran. Couldn't
That would
remember his
be
name.
wouldn't that be Mullen?
No, Mullen actually. No, Mullen's got about as much courage as Shaggy and Scooby Doo. Uh, the guy I was talking about was basically the greedy coward that liked rigged bets.
Oh, he had his own ship, didn't he?
He did.
He tried to take
His
on
ship was.
wasn't he even the one that tried to take on Savannah himself and he got blasted?
Yes.
Yeah, that fucker. That's a minor spoiler. I'll give you guys that one. That's a minor spoiler. There's a dumbass character that ended up losing his life because of arrogance, and he's a nobleman too. So won't say his name, but yeah. Trying to find a good found one, but I'm gonna post it up soon. There it is. Me versus Don Carnage.
That sounds like the title of a fanfic.
That's He's an air pirate from Tailspin.
Tailspin, yeah. That would
Oh
be a
God.
weird crossover. Last Exile and Tailspin.
Speaking of which, yeah, you gotta love the 90s for their weird naming conventions. Dawn Carnage. Carnage. Here's
Hmm.
some of the ships right here in Last Exile. It's like that's another thing that you would want to look at this series is ship design alone. Just how they were able to create a lot of ship designs
Well,
for such a setting.
the guild was all space age, sort
Yeah,
of.
they were highly advanced. They kind of remind me of the Harkonnen.
Kind of reminded me of Tenchi Muyo.
That's all. Do we ever want to tackle Tenchi Muyo?
No, we can if you want to. I wouldn't mind.
I'm a little hesitant on that, but yeah,
Yeah,
one
Well,
day.
I go
well,
with
it
the
depends.
original.
Well, it depends on which Tenchi Muyo we're watching, because
We're going in
if we watch
order.
the but if we watch the original, which is like the first of the series, we can't do that in the future.
Waking up on the wrong side of the bed since 1999.
Well, I remember vividly watching Tenchi Muyo when Toonami was a thing back then. Well, well, I mean it's still a thing, but it didn't show up until really late at night.
Anyways, so what are your so since you guys have only first impressions, since you're not through with the series yet, how would you give Last Exile so far? Would you
Just
give a
give it a shot.
recommendation?
It's worth your
Yeah, I'd
time.
give it a recommendation.
I mean, it doesn't have titties bouncing around for one. If that's what you guys are worried about, a lot of the women on here are very respectable and they're badass in their own right. So are the males. I ain't never seen not one male being degraded throughout this whole series. So Leia, this is a show
Well,
right up your alley.
keep in mind this was made during a timeline where none of that was prevalent until like the 2010s.
Early aughts, 2003. Innocent time, of course.
A very innocent time before the crazies took over the asylum.
Yeah, for everybody was saying, and the body snatchers hadn't come for them yet, or pod people, whatever you want to call it.
As a matter of fact, before we start wrapping it up, uh, what could you what could you say about our main protagonists, Klaus and Lavi?
Well,
Huh?
it's part of the heart.
Klaus? Oh, sorry.
It's part of the hardships that Klaus and Lavi go through throughout the series. Series like they didn't become jaded cynics. They maintain their hope and idealism.
Go ahead, humble.
Um, they've got really good parents. Lavi knows her limits when she gets them, but Klaus also has a really good work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
He's also not a dumb protagonist either,
No, he is very mature.
and no, neither is Lavi as well. They're just usually just true blue naive couriers. They're It's like you get to see them. You get to see how well they shine and how they best approach a situation when it comes down to when the rock hits them, and you see how they pull through that as well. Especially a certain incident that happens, which I'm not gonna say. I'm waiting
That's
for you
okay.
guys to get there. I'm waiting for you guys to get there because that man, that was man. It
I kind of I kind of like how Klaus is a cautious one, but then Lavi wants to square peg round hole it until it's time to be careful. And poor Al is just along for the ride.
You're not
Uh,
wrong.
it, what's funny about Alvis is that the way how they write Alvis, it's like it, it's really good child writing. She is a
Mm-hmm.
child. She's not a super hyper intelligent child. She is a
And,
child.
and she's also very active as a character and not a hindrance to the characters, their respective arcs, as well as the story.
With that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for being here. Those three, four of you, and those 9 motherfuckers keep popping in and out. Thank you everybody for those of you who were able to say something. Mostly, Star, but I didn't line the stars correctly this time, but we'll 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 improve next time. We will improve. Thank you, the humblest of writers, Humble Marty.
Hello, I'm Humble Marty. I write books, and this is my fan in the background. Thank you for being here today.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
You put his finger on the button and it pops up.
Oh, you heard the mouse click. Shit. It's a new mouse. It's very silent. It doesn't make no click sound. I don't know how the hell y'all hear it. Uh, the Hound of the South, Donick Powell.
Thank you everybody for joining us in tonight's episode of Anime Spotlight as we cover Last Exile. If you have any other series that you'd like us to share in the future, make sure you put them down in the comment section down below. And if there are any other topics that you'd like us to discuss in the future, be it on Anime Spotlight, the Real Millennials, or any of our other segments, do just the same. This is the Hound South Downing Pile signing off, and remember to keep up the good fight and keeping hope, idealism, and optimism alive in the world.
Damn it, Aaron! You keep jinxing shit!
A resident pioneer who's still new to this whole anime gig that we're doing so far. The lovely of Valor, Leia plus size.
Hey everybody, this is Leia Plus Size, your Lady of Valor. And as our Wolf Commander said, I am a newbie when it comes to the genre of anime. I am not as knowledgeable and maybe as passionate as those on the panel or some of you who have watched this. But I am learning. It's been an interesting ride. And if you have any further comments about this particular anime that Wolf showcased this evening, anything you want to say that we may have missed, or you have your own thoughts and comments on it, leave it in the comments below. I am sure Wolf will like to hear about it. And hopefully in the future, maybe I will sit on some more panels and see if I can catch up with the love of this genre as those on the panel have expressed. But until then, I will see you next time and have a good evening. And all those in California, try to stay dry.
Oh, we passed that.
Well,
I'm not into guys with vaginas.
Oh!
for genre.
Well, what did you say, Dom? Sorry.
Animation is not a genre, it's a medium.
Anime is a medium. Oh, see, well, thank you for educating me on that. See, I don't know.
The
So
hurricanes passed.
I'm learning. Yeah,
We're
you survived
fine.
it. I thought it would be. I saw on the news mudslides, and then you had an earthquake. Oh my God, the wrath of God really came down on you guys, didn't it? You had a rain
We
and
have
an
become Sodom
earthquake.
and Gomorrah so far, so yeah,
I was.
surprisingly, we haven't turned to salt yet.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad you're all okay. Because when I heard the rain and then the earthquake, I'm like, the wrath of God has come down on California.
This has been your Will Commander Wolftan reminding you guys once again, you are the UN Spacey. Welcome to the Wolf Fleet.